Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. Since 1989, the Asian American Donor Program has been on a mission to boost the number of marrow transplants available for Asian patients. Carol Gillespie and Kristian Salcedo will share their story. Thank you so much for joining us. AADP is what it's called, right?
Correct.
Tell me how it first started.
So back in 1989, there were two patients in the community, people in the community that needed a bone marrow donor. One was a 9-month-old little girl, Amanda, and the other one was a 30-year-old woman. And when they looked in the registry, there were only 123 Asians on the registry. And so there was no way that they were going to find a donor within that number of Asians registered. So we had to go out into the community, register more Asian Americans and list them on the national registry. They unfortunately passed away because no donor was found. So that was the birth of AADP. So we started our own nonprofit to educate the community about the need.
Great. And so is there still a challenge to get Asian Americans to register?
Yeah. I believe there is still a big challenge. Being an outreach coordinator myself, I'm involved with a lot of communities out there, especially the Asian American community. And there's just a lot of fear associated with the whole process, especially when they hear the word bone marrow. But it's really just due to the lack of education on the actual donation process, as well as the donation process itself.
Okay, well, we're glad you guys are here to educate us. We actually have a quick clip of a San Jose State student describing why some Asian communities are afraid of being donors. Here it is.
I think there's like a misconception or fear that sort of comes around when signing as a match.
So, for example, like we've done matches in Chinatown, and a lot of the times I think it has to do with culture. Like I have friends who say like they can't donate blood or whatever because their parents are always, it's like a superstition, like no, like you shouldn't do that, like just keep to yourselves, like. So I think it has to just do a lot with culture and the way like our parents or the older generation, they just want to, they think, and they also think it's really painful when it's not painful, like our technology has improved. So I think a lot of times when people say no, they're just misinformed. So.
All right, so you talk to them out there. What do you say to actually get them to donate, to become a donor?
There's many different ways of trying to approach. It depends on the community we're in. But for the college campuses, we usually ask them, are you interested in saving a life? Because it's fairly simple. All you have to do is a simple cheek swab. And so when they understand that, oh wow, it's only a simple cheek swab, yes, I'd be more willing to donate that way.
Okay.
Or register in that case.
Got it. So you become a donor. How many donors actually go on to save lives?
In the past 26 years, we've had 357 of the donors that we registered that have gone on to donate to someone in need. So that's pretty awesome. And we've had 6 patient donor meetings. So the patient actually gets to meet their recipient, which is really cool. And we're going to have our 7th one coming up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so does it cost anything to donate?
No, it does not cost anything at all. So AADP actually holds fundraisers throughout the year to cover the cost for the registration process. And that would normally cost $100, but those fees are waived for these potential donors.
Okay.
We don't want money to be a barrier for anyone to register.
All right. So if anyone is out there and they're, they seem interested and they're like, I want to save a life, but I'm a little scared about doing this. What would you say to them?
Just think about what the patient goes through. I mean, they go through a lot of treatment for sometimes years, chemotherapy, a lot of different tests. This is nothing, really. Bone marrow collection is only requested 25% of the time. That's a surgical procedure where you're in the hospital maybe or in the operating room for about a half an hour. But you're under general anesthetic, so you're not going to feel it. 75% of the time, it's peripheral blood stem cell collection. So it's literally the blood collecting the stem cells that is in the blood that runs in your veins. So they just hook you up to a blood separating machine, a needle in both arms, the blood comes from one arm. The stem cells that were mass produced by a series of shots that we give you fall in a separate bag, and the rest of the blood products go back in your other arm.
So how long is the procedure?
4 to 6 hours, depending on the age of the patient.
4 to 6 hours, and 4 to 6 hours you can save a life.
Easy. Yeah.
Now, do these donors ever meet the patients?
They do. Like I said, we have had 6 so far that have met. Now, some transplant centers won't allow you to meet your recipient, so you just have to, you know, you just won't be able to meet them. But we've had 6 that have met. Yeah.
And have you ever witnessed these meetings at all?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But I have to tell you, it's also hard. I mean, how do you thank someone for saving your life? And as a donor, how do you say you're welcome? You know, it's really kind of awkward but awesome at the same time.
Rewarding, yeah.
Yeah.
So my last question for you guys, if you want to become a donor, how do you register?
That's really simple. So I do have the what we'd actually have at the registration drives. What I have is a consent form, and so we have potential donors just fill this form out relatively quick. Takes about 5 to 8 minutes. Relatively quick, and once they're done doing that form, they'll just do a simple cheek swab with the 4 Q-tips provided within this kit itself. So you just take these Q-tips here and you swab the 4 corners of your cheek, put them in, and we'll send them off.
Easy as that. And again, like you said, you know, not every donor actually goes on to give to a patient, but when they do, 4 to 6 hours, that's it, and they save a life.
Yep.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Carol and Kristian. For more information on the Asian American Donor Program, log on to aadp.org. That's aadp.org. And coming up, how Oakland Leaf transforms low-income students into well-rounded leaders.